How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Living the dream.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and what do you do?
So I born in Iowa, know this story. I moved around a lot. My father was in the army, so he was stationed in Kentucky, went to North Carolina, lived there. I grew up there till I was about 20. Then I lived in Pennsylvania for about 7 years. And then I met my husband in 1998. And we got married a year later, and job took him out home for him back to Texas in 2008. So I had lived there since 2008. We lived in Waco. And, I done my degree is in management. So I had done, I worked in big box retail. So I worked for Kohl's, I worked for Dick's. Um, I liked it, but again, corporate is working for corporate. I wanted something more, where I could really make that difference. And I didn't feel like, putting clothes on racks, and that wasn't the big thing. I just wanted to do something that really made that difference. So then I went back to school and I got my master's degree actually in education. And I wanted to be a special education teacher or maybe a reading specialist. My husband got transferred and then I was going to have to do more schooling. So I went to work at Goodwill and I wanted to work with these special needs kids. But they kind of saw my management and retail background. So they put me in the stores, running stores. So that kind of wasn't what I wanted. So then I went to work on the college campus in Waco. And it kind of was fulfilling because I was able to help the kids. I mean, they're not kids, they were teenagers, young adults. And then at the same time, my husband and I were planning for our financial future and, how are we going to have, you know, besides retirement funds, what were we going to do to bring in funds as we got older? And our plan was to buy houses, renovate them, rent them out, have them paid off. So then by the time, we're in our 60s, we have that rental income that was coming in. So because I grew up in housing industry, I think since I was 8 years old, I've been in and out of homes. My mother designed homes. Her husband, he, built homes. So I'd been in and out of them and I felt really comfortable with it. And so I said, my husband and I kind of were talking and I decided I'd get my real estate license so we could save on commissions. And, that seemed like a great idea. So got my real estate license. And then for about 6 months, I was working full time still at the college. And then on the weekends, we were looking for homes for us to purchase. But then people on the campus started realizing, my colleagues, they were like, "Oh, you have a real estate license. Will you help me find a home?" And I'm like, "Sure." So then weekend after weekend, I'm out helping them find homes. And like I said, I was about 6 months in and I had 8 closings in 1 month. Wow. I mean, I just was so busy. And I thought I can't keep up the pace. So I knew I had to choose one. So I went for real estate because it brought me more joy than, I mean, it was fun helping college kids, but I just find it more rewarding to help somebody find the home.
Well, that's amazing. Yeah. What was a pivotal moment or decision that shaped the trajectory of your business journey and what lessons did you learn from it?
So I would say probably the most important moment in my real estate career. So when I was at the college, one of my colleagues, her son and his new wife were looking for a home, didn't have a ton of credits, didn't have a huge budget, and they were going to be first time home buyers. And in speaking with them, they felt like people or others, I'll say, were not helpful to them and didn't want to spend the time helping them find a house because they didn't have a big budget. I think their budget might have been 130,000. Um, and they kind of were, had kind of lost hope and they thought, okay, well, we're going to have to live in this apartment forever. Thing was, they wanted to start a family. So I just kind of worked with them, thought about what they really wanted. We searched for a few weeks and found a house that fit in their budget. And then I had a fabulous lender he probably got 99% of my deals. He got them some down payment assistance money, closed the deal. And that was probably what brought me the greatest joy was when they are at closing and they were so happy and we took their pictures. And then I think it was like 18 months later, they had a daughter. And just to know that you kind of took that negative feeling that they had about how people wouldn't help them and made it positive. um, by being dedicated to them. That kind of taught me that no matter how big someone's budget is in real estate, have to give them that same dedication. So that was kind of, what I started my real estate business on was that it still kind of drives me today into what kind of realtor I want to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, that's great. What's one piece of advice you wish you would have received when you first started out, and how would it have changed your approach?
I think, and I'm sure I heard the advice. I'm probably didn't think it was important, but once you get your real estate license, because it's a financial obligation you have to pay, and if you don't have another job, you're wanting income to come in. So once you get your license, you're like, okay, I got to hit the ground running. I need to get some deals, get some clients. I need to just go. And that's like what I said I did. I just started going, had the 8 closings a few months later. And you're just so excited to get deals and help people that I think I would have been better served if you slow down and you think about how to brand yourself, have proper marketing in place. So, and even like the back office stuff, you need to be able to have email stuff set up and just a way to communicate with them and have all that back office stuff set up so you can spend your time with the clients and not worrying about, okay, did I send them this email? Did this get taken care of? But also, I mean, the big thing is get out there marketing wise and promote your brand and show how you're a different type of realtor. Because yes, when you have a client and you work hard for them, they're gonna refer people to you. So that's always nice. That makes you feel good. But, to be more efficient in getting your name out there is probably something that realtors, I mean, because there's a million realtors out there. So to figure out how to differentiate yourself marketing wise and brand wise, that is something that you really need to focus on, I think, to be successful.
Absolutely. Well, and you're a great people person. So everybody loves you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. But, moving to Minnesota after, I mean, I was established in Texas and coming back up, I say home because I was born in Iowa, but coming back home in my late 40s after I was established in Waco, that's really tough because there's a ton of realtors in Minneapolis. And honestly, I don't know anybody except for a few family members and, people in my networking group. And as I'm getting to meet people, but you've got to start all over with, okay. And then they're thinking, okay, well, what makes you different? Are you another realtor that is overpaid and, that kind of thing? So you have to really start back. Step one, you know, that's something that, I can work on here is marketing and branding and that sort of thing.
Okay. What's a common misconception about your industry, and how have you navigated to stay ahead?
So one misconception about realtors is that all we care about is closing a deal, cashing a check, and that the job is really easy and that, oh, I don't need a realtor. I can do it myself. Um, Being a realtor is a tough job. It's not physically demanding, but mentally, it can be demanding. There's a lot of multitasking. You have to have knowledge of many markets, not, if you're just going to sell in Dayton, then that's fine. But, pretty much you've got to cover Minneapolis, St. Paul area. So you have to have knowledge of all those areas, which also we have to have knowledge about different communities. You have to be able to negotiate tactfully with the other side's realtor. You have to paperwork, all the legalities, contracts, forms, and good realtors, they don't just find the house and sell it. They're going to recommend various, inspectors and help you get, here's the power companies here's their phone number. Here's this, here's the schools, here's the number you can call to register your kids in school. I mean, it's really, if you're a good realtor, you're from start to finish, everything through that whole process, your title company, you're just, and sometimes when you're helping somebody sell their home, if you have a married couple, you're almost like a therapist to them because they might not disagree. And selling a home is hard. So you have to kind of tell, hey, this is going to be tough, stick together, so it's a lot of it's wearing a lot of different hats and just being that trustworthy source. And again, like we've talked about before, being honest with people and kind of letting them know. A lot of people don't sell a house every, single day. Realtors are involved in every day. So some things seem just commonplace to us, but as realtors, you have to remember that people don't sell their homes. They might 3, 4 in their lifetime, maybe 5. So kind of ahead of time, letting them know what the next step is. So they're aware, not just springing it on them at the last minute, just kind of letting them know how the process goes, what's coming up next, and letting them know that you got them. I've got you. I'll take care of this. And then when things arise that are off what they thought was going to happen, just step in, take care of it, handle it. Um, that's kind of the way to differentiate yourself. And most realtors do that. But finding one that does that consistently, that's really what you need because, purchasing a home is a huge investment, right? So just finding somebody that really looks out for your best interest, and, for me personally, because I like to flip homes, I like to find homes that need a little love that I can tell them, hey, paint this wall, do this, do this. You're going to build equity. So I think doing things like that as well proves that, you're in it to help them and they're more important than this supposed big, huge paycheck, right? That realtors get. And you got to remember realtors, they pay for their gas, they pay for dues for real estate boards, and most realtors have to pay their brokerage, a certain percentage, usually about 5-10%. And then if they're on a team, they pay somebody probably another 20%. So all in all, 35% is straight to your brokerage. And you pay taxes. And so some of the money seems great, but once it's all down in your pocket, it's just like a regular job. And another thing is if, you show somebody 10 homes and they don't like any of them, well, you just wasted your time and you made no money. Absolutely. So they're not always making money. It's not get rich quick. It takes a lot of dedication. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you.
Hey, it's Will with the Podcast Crew team. Spotlight is a vidcast shot at the Podcast Crew studios in Minneapolis. We would love for you to be our guest. Email us at the email address on your screen below to get a copy of the upcoming schedule. It's free, it's easy, and it's a great way to try out a podcast or a vidcast with our pro team. We do an in-person, in-studio version if you're in the Twin Cities area and also an online version if you're somewhere else. We'd love to have you, hear your story, and help you start your podcast journey. Thanks. Get in touch today.